One of the most important thing in land transaction is the land document, and one of the most important thing in a land document is the reciter, and this is what hold both the land document and also the land transaction. Now, if you fail to visit the reciter and look what is the clauses that is misstated in that reciter, you lose the land, being the fact that that issue you a land document. So a lot of people have fallen victim of land scam because of they fail to understand the meaning of a reciter. They don't know what's actually being stated in a reciter. Some of them don't even know what is actually stated in a land document, the reciter in a land document. Now, a reciter is the history of a land. Now, this is what actually shows the land history, how the person that is selling this land to you gain ownership. And there are some things you should spot out in a land reciter that is going to show that this land you buy into is actually genuine. That is what we are going to be talking about in this video. If you get to watch this video to the end, I ensure you that you are going to gain value from this video. So when it comes to land transaction, documentation is one of the most important things in land transaction because land is immovable. The only thing that is being movable is the documentation that move from one person's hand to another. And what actually state the fact that a land has transferred from your hand, from the owner to the seller, is what that is being stated in the land reciter. Now, when you buy a land and you go through the reciter, now this is the history of that land. The person selling that land to you, how does this person get ownership? How much the person selling the land to you used to gain ownership to that land? Now, everything is going to be stated in that reciter. Now, this is one of the most important parts of a land document. And what are the things you are going to see in a land document in the reciter? You are going to know that this land is actually genuine. Now, when you have been issued a land, now you see Mr. A as the assigner of so and so property. Then the next thing is her address is being showing on that reciter. Then the next person you are going to see is Anne, Mr. B, which is you or the person having that land. The next thing that is going to follow there is the address of that person that is buying that land. That is the Mr. B. And also, when you buy a land and you get to see that what is being stated there is just Mr. A gain this property and is being issuing the property to Mr. B without a history being tracked in that land transaction, that means there's something wrong in that land. There's something wrong in that document. You should spot out that. That is a red flag in the land document. Now, when you are buying a land and they do not show the date that Mr. A actually gained ownership to that land, that is a red flag alone. It will show that this document is a fake document. That either you should either get a professional to go through that document, and also you should avoid doing such kind of land transaction. Now, if you also find when you are going through a land document, you fail to say that okay, Mr. A buy this property with so consideration. Consideration is what is the exchange, what they use as an exchange to get that land. Is it monetary, or maybe somebody, like if you are buying land from a surveyor, when a surveyor survey a particular parcels of land, then they allocating some plots in his own name. So there's something is going to track history that this land actually belongs to somebody. Now, how do you know that this land is actually genuine? A good reciter. Now, a good reciter is going to start from Mr. A, the assigner of this property. Then the next thing is his address. The next thing after the address, Mr. B, who is gaining ownership of that land, is address. Then when you are going down in the warehouse, there's a place what we call the warehouse. The warehouse. Now, when you go to that part, then this is the history. This is the most important part you should pay attention to. Now, it's going to show how Mr. A gained ownership to that property. It's going to show the person that sold the property to Mr. A, how the person gained ownership. Also, the date that Mr. A gained ownership to that property, and also the date Mr. B that is selling that sold the property to Mr. A also gained ownership, and how much do the person that Mr. A buy the property for also use to acquire that property. Everything is going to show in that document. If you fail to see the history, how Mr. A gained ownership to that property, and also how the person that sold that property to Mr. A also gained ownership to that property, and how much was exchanged as a consideration, then you should know that this land is a red flag. Do not invest in such land transaction. So that is why it is important that when you are trying to buy any land property. And most of the times where you can, one of the most important part in land transaction is the deed. Now this is where you are going to, a reciter has been stated. Now it's either a deed of assignment, a deed of sublease, a deed of conveyance, or any other deed that that land comes with. Even a deed of gift comes, there's a reciter has been stated there, that how does the person gain ownership. So it is important you know all these things when doing land transaction. A lot of people have lost their hard-earned money because of they want to invest in property, and they issue them a document because of you don't go through that document and you don't show that okay, this person actually gets this document with with a consideration of so amount, but they fail to check the history, how the person gain ownership in that consideration, with the consideration. But what actually, when was the date did he actually gain ownership of that land? These are the things we are going to see in a land transaction. The reciter part, this is the history of that land. We call it the biography of a land transaction. So this part is important when doing land transaction. So if you want to own property right here in the city of Enugu safely with good land title document that is verifiable in the land registry, that has good title document right here in the city of Enugu, I can help you out. All you have to do is to call the number being displayed on your screen on 07067283262. Let me help you to get the best property right here in the city of Enugu, whether to buy for land banking or to buy where you can actually buy and build and move in with your family or for rental purpose. Call or WhatsApp me on the number. Let's discuss your budget.